everybody, and welcome to WakeUpToLife.tv with Kelsey
and Karen. Well, today's show we're going to be talking about the law of duality and how that can play out in our everyday life.
So duality meaning you got one side and you got the other. So you got happy, you perhaps got sad, you got cold, you got hot, you got up, you got down.
Here, there, and
left, right. Yeah, okay. Up, down, left, right, you know. Yeah.
Well, it's the duality of life, what I refer to as the yin and yang of life.
The balance. Everything has a balance.
Exactly. And when we can attempt to ignore one and believe that this over here is all that exists. But when we do that, we can bring a lot of suffering into our lives. So I find that a lot of people, if we can look at positive and negative, for example.
Okay, yeah.
So we hear a lot about, have a positive attitude.
Yes.
And focus on the positive and positive thinking. So we can be, say, 80% going forward in our positive thoughts, but so there's that 20% of ourselves that's still holding us back.
Yeah.
And dragging us down, and we just cannot figure out why. No matter how much action we take in our world, things are just not happening the way we want them to happen. And it's because we're only focusing on those positive, positive affirmations or whatever that looks like. So what we need to do is look at what's holding us back. Look at the negative and really allow ourselves to explore that. If this is light, to explore our darkness.
So it's embracing the wholeness. So you have the positive and you have the negative. And by embracing both is when you experience the wholeness.
Exactly.
And can truly go to one side or the other.
That's right.
Yeah. And that's where true revelations can occur.
Because we think that the positive and negative are completely separate.
Right.
But they're not. It's actually two sides of the same coin.
Yeah.
And so if we allow ourselves to really look at all of our circumstances, the events that play out in our life, the people in our life, and why are we being triggered, what's going on in a negative way that's affecting us, and really allow ourselves to go in and have a deeper reflection of why things are happening. And it's just, when we do this, we can say, okay, you know what, even though the negative is the uncomfortable part of life, we need to go into that uncomfortableness. The emotional body is where we allow for true manifestation of the positive to flow into our life again. Does that make sense?
Oh, absolutely. And when people resist going into that, it's that saying, what you resist persists.
Yes.
So if you just pretend that negative part doesn't exist, it's gonna be knocking at your door. It's gonna be, hello, I'm here. And then it'll whisper first, and then it'll hey, hello. And then all of a sudden you knock your head on the door, and all of a sudden life will literally say, you cannot ignore me anymore, and it will find very creative ways to let you know it's there. And you can get headaches, you can pull your back out, you can knock your head on the screen door. You remember that? It happens. It's amazing.
Yes. Well, just yesterday, just close to my house, a man was driving an SUV, and he hit a woman, a pedestrian.
Oh no!
Can you imagine the karma, the energy wrapped around that event?
Yeah.
And
that the woman co-creates getting hit by an SUV and the man who hits the woman.
To be a part of that event and the timing where he would have to come around the corner for her to be there. Yeah. And so it's those experiences that we can judge as a negative. But in my world, I know that everything that we can perceive as being traumatic or a tragedy, we always know that something good always comes from it. Always.
It's that thing, like those that experience sorrow, a loss of some kind, as sickening as it may sound, that, it's actually a blessing that they've experienced the sorrow to the depths that they have, because they, on the other hand, will have the capacity to experience so much more joy than maybe others can't even imagine. So there's always the gift on the other side of it.
There is.
And you know, you can ask anyone, going back into your own life and find an experience that was maybe very negative at the time, and just look at how your life has transcended that, and to know that that event caused the greatness.
Exactly.
And so you ask people that have been in, you know, car accidents, or maybe they're wheelchair bound, and they say they would do it again.
Yes.
Why? Because of the great life they have. So what's that all about? So it just goes to show the law of duality is you know,
taking place.
Yeah.
And it's also, it's getting back to this man who hit this pedestrian. He when I was observing him, he just energetically, he was very cut off. You could see that he was very separate from everyone else energetically.
Yeah.
And so I find that if we're blocking our heart to the world, we're blocking our heart to ourselves and to life, life will bring those moments to us to say, you know what, you need to wake up right now and open your heart and experience the deeper truths of who you are. Because if we don't take that initiative ourselves, life will, as we said, make it happen for us.
Yeah. Oh man, yeah. And like I said before, you know, it'll whisper in a moment, and then it'll yell, and then it'll transpire more and greater and greater.
Tragic events.
Yeah. So it's easy enough to take a moment and reflect on your life and saying, if you could answer this question, what sign is the universe most likely giving you, on and on and on? Is there a message that it keeps wanting to try and tell you? And you'll know, because when you think about it, it kind of it gives that tingly. It's like, okay, yeah, I think it's trying to tell me this. Like, and those are those things that, if you can imagine, if you don't take action now, it could manifest greater in the future. So kind of nip it in the bud, I guess. Another thing I want to mention as well is that when we speak of duality, there is a concept that I look at, and it really helps me in my life, which is, you know, the duality of nothing. When nothing exists, what else exists? Everything. And that's like a huge concept. And I absolutely, when I discovered this, I just really tapped into what limitless potential is all about. And when I think about nothingness, so what can I get when I get nothingness? Which is an example, which would be is, say I'm having a conflict with somebody, and in that conflict, there's something there. There's something burning, and it's like, oh, I didn't say this, or I want to say that, or it's unresolved. And the moment that I can get to that place where it literally is done, like there's not, I said what I need to say, they said what they needed to say, we feel free from each other. There's like the clearing, where it's just like, you can like take it, the situation, and put it away because it's done. Let it go. In that moment exists nothingness, because there's nothing there. So what that means is that if there was a conflict and that conflict's now gone, what exists now is anything. So I don't have to, I can create with that person who I conflict with a brand new relationship in that moment, which has nothing to do with what happened, because it's gone. And whew, talk about, you know, tying up loose ends with old friends, or if you have an ex-wife or an ex-husband, like the possibility of friendship exists in that. So this just shows how much potential is out there. So, yeah.
That is fabulous sharing, Kelsey.
Thank you.
And it's so important that we really take the time to just reflect.
Yeah, take time. Because it's all about us anyway, right?
Exactly, right?
Take our time for ourselves. We deserve it.
And in that duality also, it's recognizing that we do have the feminine and masculine energies that move through us. And so a woman, we have masculine energies moving through us, the feminine, of course, and same with men. And so once we really align with these energies, we begin to empower ourselves even more.
Go power.
Yes. Fly high.
That's fly. Excellent.
Well, it's been great, Kelsey.
Yet another episode.
Yes, and thank you everyone for subscribing to our show on YouTube. Thank you so much.
Yes.
And we look forward to seeing you next week.
That's right. Namaste.
Namaste.